Greetings, friends. Welcome to the Pin Tool Podcast. My name is Al Wayman, owner of Creek Road Pottery in Laceyville, Pennsylvania, next to the cold Tuscarora Creek. Pull up a chair around the wheel as we discuss topics concerning the art and craft of pottery, good books, storytelling, marketing, and creating work that matters for folks who care.
Greetings, friends. It's another beautiful day here at Creek Road Pottery in Laceyville, Pennsylvania. The Tuscarora Creek is running a little bit low. It's been nice and warm here. And it is July 22nd at the time of making this podcast. Season 3, episode 16. And it is about 8 o'clock in the morning. Just got home from night shift at the paper factory, and I'm a little bit late at releasing this episode. But since the last episode, some amazing things have happened, and I've been doing a lot of overtime to secure funding for rebuilding the wood kiln. So I am sitting out on the porch of the pottery shed, and you can hear the birds and the mourning doves and the owls, and it's just a beautiful day. So I came across some amazing deals, and one of them was on some hard brick, Super Duty hard brick for the kiln, and the brick was real cheap. There was a gentleman up the road, probably about an hour, who had access to a lot of kiln brick. And he told me that he ended up purchasing this kiln brick very cheaply from a company who just had this big project and decided not to do it and was unable to send all the brick back, so they sold it to him, and he was selling it out. And friends, this brick was very cheap, so I bought a bunch of it, and I'm going to be able to put a lot of new brick back into the kiln that I took down last summer around this time. So the floor of the kiln, as I took it down, I was unable to save some of that brick because in a wood firing, as you know, if you're familiar with wood firings, the brick, the ash creates a glaze, and it ends up glazing the inside of the kiln. So that glaze was pretty thick on the floor of the kiln that I took down. So some of the brick was ruined as I was trying to take up that floor as careful as I could and stack it on pallets to have it shipped to my studio. But with the new brick, I'll have enough to put in that floor and possibly do a firebox. I'm going to be getting 2 more pallets of 160 brick. I just got 2 pallets last week. I'll be getting 2 more. And then the gentleman said that he came into a pallet of brick that was cut for the arch. That'll be amazing to have as replacement parts. And one of those pallets that I was able to get had spanner brick. So it was a long brick, and they can be used as replacement parts for the ones that break, or usually break, where you have the stoke holes in the side of the firebox. So I was really happy, and I wanted to buy up as much of this brick as I possibly could and get it delivered here. The price alone on top of the delivery was still far cheaper than if I would have had to go to Philly or Syracuse or someplace to get this brick. And the cost alone shipping it here would have been immense. And that was one thing that I was really worried about But that kind of thing, things worked out, and I'm really happy about it. So the construction of the wood kiln should start the first week of August. Another thing that I got done, and I think I talked about it a little bit in the last episode, was the concrete pad that I had poured. And the guys came in and they did a really nice job with that. So I'm really happy. That's now cured and hardened up. I waited about a month. So now I can start putting brick on it. And I've been looking over the plans for the kiln. So this kiln project is going to be pretty interesting to do. And I can't wait to get started, because I've had this goal for almost a year now. And it's been a huge task to take it down and stack it all on pallets and have it shipped to the house. So I'm going to be going to the old studio where the kiln was, have a little meetup with the people who are going to be helping me fire the kiln. I was given the kiln to move it here, and at the same time with the understanding that they be allowed to come and participate in the firings here. So I already have a community of people interested in helping me fire this kiln, which is pretty nice. So I think some of the brick that I have is going to be extra. I might make a wood oven. So I'm going to maybe surprise my wife and put in a wood oven so that we can do pizzas in a wood-fired pizza oven out back, ideally while we're firing the kiln. That'll be a nice addition. Homemade pizza while you're firing the kiln. Who wouldn't come by and help for that, right? So that's some of my big goals. Need to start throwing pots for the fall shows coming up. Got the Artist Open House Weekend, Susquehanna County. And I'm going to be at a location for that. And then I have my fall show, the Pumpkin Trail, in October to get ready for. I'm going to be going out to the Bill Moon Kiln, help him fire in September. And also, I'm going to be putting work into Bill's kiln up at Imagine Peace Pottery in Mills, PA, in October, the third week of October. So it appears that I'll be able to have some wood-fired pots here coming out of my own kiln and maybe out of Bill's to fill the building for the Christmas show. So the Christmas show, I am not sure if other businesses are going to participate, because usually I'm on the trail Christmas in the Country. And the organizer of that has been doing some different things. And so I am not sure if I will be, or if she will be having Christmas in the Country again this year. But I am personally going to have a pottery Christmas show. I love decorating for it. And it's always a blast to do the Christmas show. And I love putting up the tree and the whole thing, right? Having all the pots. And I'll have some wood pots there, wood-fired pots. And that will be amazing. So I can't wait for all this to start. And I have probably about 30 to 40 bowls I need to fire out. I'm hoping later today, right? After I get a little bit of sleep. Need to help my wife with food shopping. Then when we get back from that, I'm hoping maybe I can fire a bisque in the gas kiln. So that's what's been going on here. And today, we're going to be talking about a topic that you all might find kind of hard to talk about. And it's one that we may not enjoy, but it's a skill, right? It's a skill to have and hold conversations that we might not enjoy in order to get better at what we're doing. So this week's conversation is going to be on the idea of practice and the idea of failure. So what do we learn by failing? Is it okay to fail? And are we putting too much pressure on ourselves and not learning enough from failure by allowing ourselves to fail, right? That sounds kind of strange. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the pottery studio, and today we're going to toss some mugs while we talk about practice and failure and what that might be. So go get a coffee, come right back here, and we'll go to the studio, we'll pull up a chair, and we'll have a chat around the wheel. All right, I'll see you then. Greetings, friends. Welcome back, and pull up a chair around the wheel. There's plenty of space here at the studio, and grab your coffee. I'm gonna get my coffee before we start throwing here. And I think what I'd want to talk about, what I said before, was chatting about practice and failure. It's said that Einstein had to fail 99 times making the light bulb before the 100th time he got it right. And a lot of times we don't give ourselves enough time to fail to get to the 100th time. Maybe we give up too early, right? And maybe we beat ourselves up that we're not performing the way we think we should. Maybe we're not throwing our forms the way we think we should. And maybe after throwing 50 of them, we're still not there. They're still not coming in. But what I'm saying is, I think maybe we just need to give ourselves more time, or go do something else and come back, right? Give ourselves a break. Because a lot of times we may be way too hard on ourselves to perform and beat ourselves up to the point where we have anxiety about the performance itself rather than the end result. When I think maybe we should be concentrating on the process more rather than the end result. So we should say to ourselves, maybe, I need to enjoy creating and the process of creating more than the end result. So if the end result is making mugs, like we're doing here, right? The process of making the mugs, centering the clay, opening it up, pulling it up, cutting it off the wheel, doing it again, the same motion over and over, can be somewhat therapeutic and relaxing once you start to enjoy those movements and finding that quiet time as you're creating the many, rather than being upset and hard on yourself and having anxiety over perfecting the few, right? So I always thought that you learn through practicing the making of the many rather than working to perfect the few, right? So I don't know if any of that makes sense, but a lot of times you might be working right along, and all of a sudden you can't throw mugs. You may have to shift to another form. You may have to shift the bowls for a while. And if you haven't thrown bowls for a while, you might need to do 20 or 30, sometimes 100 bowls before they start coming in looking good, right? So I think that we need to maybe enjoy the journey and let the destination happen on its own, right? So think about if you had a map and you lay out the map. There's 100 ways to get to the destination, right? Maybe millions, right? Millions of different ways. And you may just care about the destination, so you want to get there as quick as you can, right? So you take the shortest route. But the shortest route may not be the most interesting route or the route that will help us develop and know ourselves better. So I would rather learn something new about myself in the process of making than having a perfect pot every single time. So I was kicking around this idea of having a mess up pottery. So in my mess up pottery, people would come and have workshops, and I would have extra kilns. You would buy a kiln shelf, and you could do anything that you wanted to in a safe way on that kiln shelf. If you had local wild clay you wanted to try, you could fire it out in one of those kilns. You could melt it down. You could do all kinds of things. But the idea would be not to be perfect and not to have an awesome end result or a perfect end result, but to learn something about yourself in the process, right? Learn about what steps need to come next and what happened when you took those steps. Was it the right step, or did you need to do something else? So another thing at my messed up pottery class that I would do in a perfect world, I would have it so that you would not be able to ask the instructor. You would not be able to ask the instructor a question. You would ask your neighbor. You would ask other people there. And other people there, through networking and group work on the project, would help you find your answer. And you would help them find answers. And together, you would learn process. And I think that would be amazing, because you would dispel a lot of myths that come about and a lot of assumptions that you might have that end up being roadblocks to discovery, right? So if you only traveled the well-known route, you for sure would get to your destination on time. However, you wouldn't get to experience any of the other millions of ways, right? Maybe you don't want to, and that's fine. But if we're looking to develop our skills and our knowledge, we need to develop our knowledge about ourselves and learn about ourselves so that we can learn about others and share what we create with others in better ways. So things along the way that we might discover on a different route might be amazing for us. And there's no telling what might be on the longer route to the destination. Like, you're going to take the dirt road rather than the highway, right? You're going to go past some really nice farms. You're going to see some cows out in the field. You're going to see some beautiful sunsets on some farmland. You're going to see some hay bales. You might see some deer, some wildlife, all the things that you may not be able to see from the highway if you took the fastest way to your destination. So I think we need to maybe give ourselves a little bit of a break, right? And not worry so much about the end result. But we need to have a more enjoyable time making the trip to the end result. So if we start enjoying the trip and discovering things along the way, we can put all of that together and create something amazing, right? So not only will you get to your destination, you will have learned something about yourself and each other, and you would have created something really amazing. And maybe something unexpected. Happy little mistakes happen on the back roads, right? So what if you did get a flat tire, right, on the back road? That means you would need to walk to some farmhouse, or you would need to find some person driving by, and maybe that interaction could lead to something else as they stopped to fix your tire. That is, if they're not serial killers, you end up in their trunk. However, I have met some great people who've delivered things here, who have ended up becoming really good friends just by the conversation we had and the interaction we had. So one example of that was the kiln brick guy. He was a super nice guy. Brought down the kiln brick. He's going to charge me $45 for wait time because I would have had to unload the brick. I was prepared to do it myself. I was all ready. When he got here, he said, no. He's like, I'll help you unload it. And he refused the wait fee of $45. And I was like, no. If you're going to help me, I want to pay you for helping me. He says, okay. So we got done. It was an hour and a half. I gave him $90. And it worked out great. Found out through conversation, he knows how to weld. And so I'm going to probably have him back when I make the angle iron frame around the kiln, because he knows how to weld. And I learned a little bit about him, learned about his business, his shipping business, all kinds of stuff, and it was pretty amazing. So I met somebody and formed a relationship from somebody who lived an hour from me. And had I just taken the shorter route, bought the brick brand new, had it shipped all the way up here from Philly for twice the price, I would have missed out on that conversation with my neighbor. And I would have missed out on a guy who could weld my angle iron. Now, I could have probably found another welder, but I'm just saying that I took a local road rather than the highway, right? So if you are messing up bad over and over and over, it could just be a dip, right? And you can drive through dips. You can get pulled out of ditches. So hang in there. As long as you didn't go over a cliff or find yourself in a dead end or a cul-de-sac, you'll be fine. If you do find yourself over a cliff, and if you do find yourself at a dead end or a cul-de-sac, you can always maybe turn around and find another way out, or just pick something else to do for a while, right? Because that kind of thing wasn't going anywheres, and you'll worry about sunk costs, right? You should not worry about sunk costs, because sunk costs were a gift to yourself up to this point. So just keep practicing and practice taking other routes. You don't need to take the same road all the time. And practice making the many rather than perfecting the few. And see what that does. And if you're getting burned out, go for a walk, read a book, go visit family. All that downtime is you absorbing some amazing things that are around you so that it can come out of your hands when you create and when you go back to creating, right? So all I'm trying to say is that I hope that you are able to find a way to keep going forward, take the road less traveled, like Robert Frost. Do yourself a favor and read that poem. That's an amazing poem. And think about your routes and how do you get to your destination, and do you like driving to your destination? Is the drive boring? Is the drive long? You just want to get there? Or are you enjoying the sights along the route? Do you like stop at the rest areas? Do you enjoy pulling off to the antique shops, taking your time, getting to the destination, right? All right, friends, so hopefully you enjoyed this, and take care, and hopefully you make some good work. And remember, take care of yourselves and each other, and happy potting.